business and psychology. And I'm super excited to share this with everybody. I'm going to be discussing and breaking down how you, as a business owner, can be successful if you understand your psychological makeup and apply it to being a business owner. Yeah. So those are two of the things I love. So I figured it would be good for me to tie those things in and give you guys some information regarding what I think made me successful in business was understanding how to use my psychological background. All right. So for those who don't know, again, my name is Lavelle Hewitt. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're listening, please put us in your playlist on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and wherever you can find your podcasts. It is important that we take a look into ourselves. So the name of this show is Do It in the Dark, a podcast on introspection and accountability. But what I want you to make sure you understand is not only do we talk about business practices and ideas for startup companies, how to discipline yourself, what type of leader are you, how to build a team, how to find talent. Those things are important. But for me, I believe the number one aspect is identifying what is your psychological strength. And if you can identify what your strength is, it makes you a better leader, makes you a better decision maker. And so tonight, we're going to kick off a series. We're going to kick off a series, that is very, very near to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about business and psychology. All right. So I want to do it this way. We're going to break down business, and then we're going to talk about certain principles of psychology. And then I want to show you how the two can be successful and how you should be able to use the tools that we talk about in the next few minutes. So, textbook definition of the word business. Business can be defined as an organization or enterprise that is engaged in commercial, industrial, professional activities with the main aim at earning profits and achievements set for for predetermined objectives, goals, and monies. Also, it involves production, sales, exchange of goods and services to satisfy the needs and wants of customers or clients. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of business. Now, if you take that, I want you to always consider what is your primary definition for why you are starting your business. What's the main reason you decided to go into business, open a business, right? You have to have some type of formalized thought, vision, and objective in mind that will make you say, I think this was a good idea. So, pop quiz, talking about business. What is the oldest business in the United States? I'll wait. I'll give you 10 seconds. That's me doing the 10 seconds. The Shirley Plantation is the oldest company in America. It began operating almost 400 years ago in 1638, I believe. The Shirley Plantation is the oldest family-owned business in the United States. And of course, the activities on the plantation, it is the, in terms of what they do, I believe it was a cotton plantation. And it was recognized as a National Historic Landmark in 1970. We all know how this country got its start and what was the primary mode of business. But In order to be successful for yourself, you need to at least know the history of business. You need to know the history, right? So we just talked about what a business is. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about what is psychology. Psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processing. And forgive me for the pauses. I'm really I'm in my bag here. This is off the top of my head. Then I'll verify. But this is what I studied in school. So I love psychology. But definition of psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processing. That also includes, different topics: perception, cognition, thinking, motivation, personality development, social behavior. I spend most of my time teaching and consulting with companies that don't understand two of those primary aspects of psychology: social behavior, personality, and development. Those three, I believe anybody would be able to utilize and assist themselves in business if you use those three areas. So again, developmental psychology, social behavioral psychology, and study of personalities. Okay? So it's not personality psychology, but it would be the study of personalities. If you were to study those three things, it would teach you how people respond. It would tell you what people are interested in, and it would show you how people and businesses develop over time. So what is the definition of developmental psychology? Developmental psychology is the study of how people change and develop over a certain part of time. Certain period of time is showing you what happens. Social psychology is the study of how people interact with each other. It includes topics like social influence, group dynamic, interpersonal skills, and interpersonal relationships. Now, if you look at developmental psychology, social psychology, the last one, personality studies, I think is very important because it will help you to fully understand how to read someone's body language. And if you can read someone's body language, you can now understand why that person thinks the way they do. So all of this is about thinking and how you can predict the future or forecast the future. I don't want to say predict because this is science-based. Psychology is the study of behavior and mental processing. So you really want to try and forecast what people are going to do, craft a response for what that means, and replicate it if it works. And that's how you can comprise or bring together the aspects of psychology with your business. So if you want to, if you talk about how has psychology been important in business, think of it this way. Before someone is hired onto a job now, most companies have in place personality tests. What they're doing is learning or gathering information about the psychology of that person that they're going to be hiring to work at their company. So this is nothing new. Psychology and business go hand in hand. But as a small business owner, it is your job to understand how to get the best out of your team, your product, and yourself. So first you got to understand yourself. I utilize social psychology every day at work. So for those who don't know, this is not a full-time gig for me. I do this as a passion to help people kind of identify what would work for them in business. So my full-time, job, I own a hospice company. And with owning a hospice company, we take care of patients who have less than 6 months to live. Most of them are terminal. Some of them have life-limiting illness, right? And I'll be starting a podcast talking about what I do and also discussing the intricacies of hospice care. But this platform is mainly about business, right? The one benefit that I think that makes me a good leader is understanding my own psychological makeup. I know what type of leader I can choose to be because I understand people better. So let me give you an example. If we are in a meeting with the team and it is a tough subject that I have to broach, I know how to respectfully craft a statement, make sure it is something that conveys my points, is clear, and it is something that I wouldn't be offended by. Because just because you have to tackle tough topics, it does not mean that you get to be the dictator. And that's something I know I learned early on when I started working with IBM. So now as a CEO of my own company, I ensure my partners understand my position and I listen for their position, right? Before I say something that could be potentially hurtful or harmful to the partnership. Same thing with my teammates. The people who work for the company, I don't consider them employees of mine. They work for Autumn View Hospice. So yeah, we are all a part of the team. If I have to address them from a role of leadership, I would do so with a level of respect that I know I didn't offend anybody because I listened to it back to make sure I wouldn't be offended if I heard it. Now, that's still subjective and that's coming from my, sensitive meter. But in a business situation, I know how to navigate those areas where I will be respectful, I will be to the point and as well as direct, but it won't come off curt, hurtful, or disrespectful. So social psychology is something I believe is very important. And what is, again, social psychology? Let me tell you in layman's terms what it is. It is, in essence, how you respond, react in the presence of other people, or if not in the presence, in the applied presence of other people. And I'll give you an example of what that is. Social psychology dictates that the person you are in private, you are not the same person in front of other people unless you develop a certain level of confidence where you can understand not to change who you are in the presence of other people. That is the challenge of psychology, social psychology. So most people unconsciously, or I don't say unconsciously, but non-consciously, or they present one way in private and have a total different demeanor, posture in the presence of other people. Not saying that that's good or bad, but it is an indicator to let you know that you are making a change because of the audience. And that is the main essence of social psychology. If you apply that to business, then yes, you will make changes in your demeanor, your attitude, depending on your audience, who you're speaking with, right? If it's a potential client or someone you're speaking with for the first time, you will not have the same comfort level or relaxed tone as someone that you have a personal relationship with or a coworker or teammate that you've been talking to and working with for quite some time. So the goal for us is to walk away where we understand how to present the most business savvy person depending on the audience. And that's really the goal.